Have you ever wondered why some individuals seem to endure suffering with grace and tranquility? Secret strength do they possess? This strength, this secret, is humility, a virtue often misunderstood and undervalued. Humility is not about self-deprecation or a lack of self-worth. Rather, it is about understanding our place in the grand scheme of things, acknowledging our limitations, and embracing our ability to grow. The concept of humility has been beautifully encapsulated by Saint Benedict in his 12 Degrees of Humility, a guide to living a fulfilled and meaningful life. Among these degrees, the fourth one stands out for its profound wisdom and relevance in today's world. This fourth degree talks about embracing suffering patiently and obediently, a feat easier said than done, yet incredibly transformative when accomplished. Let's embark on this journey of understanding and introspection. Today, we dive into the fourth degree of humility, embracing suffering patiently and obediently. In the fourth degree of humility, St. Benedict encourages us to endure difficult, unfavorable, or even unjust conditions with a quiet heart. In this degree, St. Benedict invites us to a path less trodden, a path of patience and obedience even in the face of suffering. This is not a call to passivity, but an invitation to strength of character, to resilience, and to faith. It is a call to embrace life's trials, not with resentment or despair, but with acceptance and fortitude. St. Benedict draws upon the wisdom of Scripture to illustrate this degree. He references the words of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, "Anyone who perseveres to the end will be saved." This is a promise of salvation, not to those who avoid hardship, but to those who endure it patiently. He further references Jesus' invitation to his disciples, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." Following Christ, according to St. Benedict, is not a journey devoid of struggle. It entails self-denial, carrying our cross, and willingly embracing difficulty. For he that will save his life shall lose it, and he that shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. Here, St. Benedict presents a profound paradox. To truly save our lives, we must be willing to lose it for the sake of Christ. This is not a call to physical demise, but to ego death, to the surrender of self-will and the embrace of God's will. In this context, suffering is not a punishment or a curse, but a crucible, a tool for refinement and transformation. It's a means by which we can understand the depth of Christ's love for us and reciprocate that love. It's in the quiet acceptance of suffering, in the patient endurance of trials, that we find our strength, our purpose, and our true selves. It's in these moments that we find God, and in finding God, we find our true home. St. Benedict presents a counterintuitive perspective. To truly save our lives, we must be willing to lose it for the sake of Christ. But why should we embrace such suffering? What is the underlying principle here? At the heart of our existence is the profound understanding of our place in God's creation. We are not meaningless specks in the universe, but rather we are cherished beings, crafted in His divine image. This realization is not just a source of comfort, but it also provides us with a sense of purpose and direction. In the grand design, each one of us has a unique role to play. We are called upon to contribute to the glorification of God, not by simply existing, but by actively participating in His divine plan. This active participation often involves embracing suffering, not as a punishment or a trial, but as a pathway to becoming more Christ-like. St. Benedict reminds us that paradoxically, it is through giving our lives away in civility and difficulty that we truly find them. This is not a call to unnecessary self-sacrifice or a glorification of suffering itself. Instead, it's about recognizing that our lives are not ours alone. They are gifts from God meant to be used in service of His greater glory. Through this lens, suffering is not an obstacle, but an opportunity to grow in humility, to develop patience, and to deepen our faith. Just as a diamond is formed under pressure, our character is shaped and refined through the trials we endure. The beauty of this perspective is that it reframes our understanding of suffering. It ceases to be a random, senseless event and becomes a transformative experience, an integral part of our journey towards God. With this mindset, we can embrace suffering patiently and obediently, not because we enjoy pain, but because we understand its purpose and its place in our lives. In conclusion, understanding our rightful place in God's creation helps us to see suffering in a new light. It's not a punishment, but a pathway to growth, a tool for transformation, and a means to draw closer to our Creator. Those who understand their rightful place in God's creation are blessed with an eternal presence in Him. The fourth step of humility is not just about suffering, it's about love. In the grand scheme of life, enduring suffering patiently and obediently isn't a mere test of our strength or resilience. It's a profound journey into the depth of Christ's love for us. Imagine it as a burning candle in the darkest of nights. The flame may flicker, it may struggle against the wind, but it never goes out. That's the essence of Christ's love for us, unwavering, unconditional, and unending. Through the lens of humility, suffering becomes a crucible for understanding and experiencing this divine love. It allows us to see and feel the magnitude of His love, that He willingly bore the cross for our sake. This isn't a love that demands reciprocation, but one that, when truly understood, naturally inspires reciprocation. So when we speak of humility and suffering, we're talking about embracing this love, about letting it seep into our hearts and soul, about allowing it to transform us from within. It's about acknowledging that we're loved beyond measure by Christ, and choosing to love Him back by living a life of obedience, patience, and humility. This doesn't mean that we seek out suffering or inflict it upon ourselves. No, it means that when suffering comes our way, we accept it, not with resignation, but with grace and patience, knowing that it's a part of our journey towards a deeper understanding of Christ's love. Remember, Christ's love isn't just an abstract concept. It's a living, breathing entity that we can experience in our everyday lives. It's in the smile of a stranger, in the kindness of a friend, in the warmth of a shared meal. And when we open our hearts to this love, we become conduits of it, spreading it to those around us through our own acts of love and kindness. So let's embrace humility, let's embrace suffering, but most importantly, let's embrace the love of Christ. To undergo these humiliations or sufferings patiently is to reciprocate Christ's deep love for us. So, what have we learned about the fourth step of humility? We've delved into the teachings of Saint Benedict, and specifically, we've explored the fourth step of humility, embracing suffering patiently and obediently. We've seen how Saint Benedict encourages us to endure difficult, unfavorable, or even unjust conditions with a quiet heart, without weakening or seeking escape. This step is about more than just silent endurance. It's about embracing the trials we face, understanding that they are part of our journey. It's about finding strength in our faith to persevere, drawing from the wisdom of Scripture, such as in Matthew chapter 10, verse 22, where it reads, "Anyone who perseveres to the end will be saved." We also examined our place in God's creation, recognizing the honor of being a part of His image. Saint Benedict teaches us that to spare ourselves from humility is to miss the entire point of our existence, which ultimately is to glorify God. Those who understand their place in God's creation, who willingly give their lives in servility and difficulty, are the ones who truly find life, eternally present in Him. This leads us to the heart of the matter, reciprocating Christ's love. Saint Benedict points us to the depth of Christ's love for us, a love so profound that it calls us to willingly embrace and reciprocate it, even in the face of suffering. To do so is not just to endure, but to overcome. Because as Romans chapter 8, verse 37 reminds us, "In all this we overcome because of Him who so greatly loved us." By embracing suffering and understanding our place in God's creation, we can find a deeper connection with God and an eternal presence in Him. As we reflect on these teachings, let's remember that the journey of humility is a continuous one, a path that leads us closer to understanding the divine love that shapes and sustains us. By embracing suffering and understanding our place in God's creation, we can find a deeper connection with God and an eternal presence in Him.